You always have to be working on this, especially if you want to keep making money and you want your business to grow. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. Let's talk about lead gen, sales, and making more cashola. All right, so I just had someone reach out to me. They've just joined our community and they said, how do I keep getting sales? Leads have dried up, so on. Now I asked, are you still prospecting? And he said, well, yeah, sort of. Now, by the way, when someone tells you sort of, they might as well just say no, because it's very rarely when someone says sort of, are they actually doing anything? You know, if you're sort of going to the gym, you're not really going to the gym, are you? So anyway, I said, okay, how are you prospecting? Now, to cut a long story short, what was happening was when he didn't have any sales coming through or when he didn't have clients, he would then post on social media. Then what would happen would be he'd get a couple of clients trickle in. Then he would do the job. Then he would run out of work again. So then he would jump back on social media. That's an ineffective strategy. Okay. If something's working, don't stop it. Momentum is one of the best things that you can have on your side. When things are working, don't stop, right? Like people do really, really well at the gym. Like they'll do a 12-week challenge. They lose weight. They feel good. You know, they're getting up early. They're crushing it. Then after the 12-week challenge stops, they stop. They go and eat a whole heap of shit food and they think I'll start tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes I'll start next week. Then this becomes a binge eating cycle. Then, 6 weeks down the track, they've put on all the weight that they've lost within 12 weeks. Then when they're fat as shit, they look in the mirror and go, I feel disgusting. I hate myself. I can't believe that I've stuffed all this stuff up. Most of the time, most people don't do shit. They just keep doing what they've always done. But eventually they get to the point where they're like, I need to lose weight again. Now, was the problem really that the gym program or the 12-week challenge didn't work or the diet didn't work or the exercise program didn't work? No. The thing is they stopped working. This is the same as in business. Most people will work really, really hard so that they don't work. Think about it. People work really, really hard to go on holidays. They work really, really hard. They get momentum on their side. They push and then they go on holidays. When they go on holidays, the business stalls in most cases, especially if you're self-employed. Just got to be careful with that stuff. I really don't like going on holidays. Now, I know that there's some of you out there that don't really understand this and don't get it and go, well, why would you work if you don't? The thing is, I enjoy work. I actually enjoy doing what I'm doing. The same reason why I go to the gym. I don't go to the gym to try to lose weight. I go to the gym because I like training. And because I like training, I'm very consistent. And because I'm consistent, I get great results in a lot of areas of my life. It's consistency. Without that, you're going to have this consistent internal battle in your own mind with your own internal dialogue. I just recently did my Thrive Time event. And I said it probably 100 times during the event. If you think like the average, you will always be average. If you're afraid of criticism, you are always going to be average because most people worry about what other people think. Therefore, they do average things and then expect a different result. They look up to the people who are crushing results and live above average. So they want to be above average, but at the same time, they can't get the same results as those who are crushing it. Why? Because average people keep doing average things and they worry about what other people think and they keep doing what everybody else does, and that's the reason why they're average. If you want to be above average, you've got to do what above average people do. And what above average people do is they get their shit together, they get clarity in life around what's important to them, and then they work towards those things. And then even when they have them, they realize that the habits that they're creating are the thing that help them win in life. So if you build financial habits, if you build health habits, if you build business habits, those things are the things that keep you winning long term. Business, life, health, vitality, fitness, friendships. This isn't a short-term game. This is a long-term game. Okay, I think about in my business, what does the next 10 years look like? Right, I've just turned 40. I keep thinking about what does it look like when I'm 50? And I start making those decisions now. I don't make those decisions when I'm 50. I keep working towards the things that I want. And I build the habits. That's what most people don't do. So my point is most people work to not work. Most people earn money so that then they can retire and not work anymore, but work's the thing that makes them all the money. Now, remember, what doesn't expand contracts and what doesn't grow dies. So if you're not consistently working on growing your wealth, then it's going to go down and go backwards. That's what most people do when they retire. They spend 40 years or 50 years working really, really hard to get ahead to retire. And then they end up going broke or end up living below the poverty line because they just can't afford shit. Or they live on whatever the government values them at. So all these people who are on, whatever allowance they're on because now they're retired, You'll hear it. You'll watch it on the news. All the retirees get there and they say, we barely earn enough money. But that's because the government says you're worthless to the economy. Now, I'm not saying they're worthless. Like, I love the elderly. I love chatting with old people and they have a lot of great stories and stuff. But you've got to be smart around your money and about your life and things like that. If you have a look at the richest people on the planet, they still work, even though they have tons of money. Yet most broke people and most average people think, well, why would you still keep working when you've got all the money? Because poor people and broke people and average people, the only reason why they work is to make money. Rich people don't do that. Rich people work towards a goal, a mission, a purpose. They work towards things that are fulfilling for them. The same as people who have great bodies and enjoy their health, they look after it. Why? Because it's important to them. It's not something that they do for the short term, it's something that they do for the long term. So anyway, I said to this business owner, look, if you're not prospecting every day, if you're not out on social media having conversations with the new followers, with people that you're connecting with, and if you're not posting every day towards an audience that is your target audience, then you're in deep shit. You're always going to have these crazy cycles where when you start posting, you'll get heaps of work. And then when you stop posting, the work dies out. You can't do that. And then there's all these other people out there who hit me up and they're like, I'm going to hire someone to do my marketing. Right, they're 2 weeks into their business. Okay. Or I get all these coaches that hit me up and they're like, who does all your DMs or direct messaging? Who does all of this? I've tried direct messages. I've tried people to do my marketing. I do have a team of people who post stuff, but a lot of the time it's me doing the majority of the work. And I'm starting now to jump back in because, I've got to make sure that the things are aligning with what I'm trying to get out there. So if you're not at the forefront of your marketing, your sales, your customer service, all of those things, as your business grows, you're going to have some major challenges. And a lot of business owners struggle, especially when they're small, because you have to do marketing, branding, sales, the delivery of the content or the product or the service. So sometimes you've still got to be on the tools or you've got to be doing stuff. And then you've got to do all the administration as well, or at least the finances. And it's pretty fucking tough. But that's why most businesses fail in the first 4 years. Okay, if you want to be above that, then you've got to figure out a way of better strategizing. You've got to have a better game plan. And then you've got to bring on the right people who can take it off you and run with the brand, run with the posting and all that sort of stuff. But you have to keep going with it. Like if you're on the tools and you're not capturing content, you're not putting that content online and making it interesting, then don't be surprised if you run out of customers. There are some good people who create some really good content in a lot of different fields, whether they be electricians or plumbers or plasterers or, coaches or mums or dads. You really have to be thinking about what you want to put online. A lot of the stuff that I put out there is sort of controversial and it smacks people in the face. The reason why I do that is because most other coaches are pussies and they will sit there and they tell people what they want to hear. Okay, here's 3 steps to stay motivated. Cool, they've already tried that. Like everyone in the world knows how to get motivated. The problem is they're not. Why? Because they get caught in their head. They go around in circles. They don't back themselves. Sometimes they just need a big smack in the face, right? They need to be told you're always going to feel like a piece of shit until you do something different. And most people don't want to hear that. But the ones who do become my clientele. They're the ones who jump into my events. They're the ones who like the no bullshit, right? Anyone can share those like, you can do it quotes or the, life is a bunch of miracles. Yeah, awesome. I bet you feel great after that. I bet you're crushing it in life after you shared that post, right? So my clientele are really the clientele who want to keep stepping it up and need a bit of an ass kicking every now and again, but also need the support. They need the tools, and they're the clientele that we get. But I post very specific things for very specific reasons. Unless my team posts it and I haven't approved it, which sometimes happens, the majority of the time, our posting schedule, I look over, I check things, I make sure it's what I want to post, I make sure it's what I want to get out there. Sometimes if I'm too busy, I let the team do it. But I let the team do it knowing that they have some boundaries to work in and they'll just post stuff that's already been posted or things like that. But if it's stories, I'm always on the stories, smashing the stories, being controversial, jumping in there, telling people to DM me, telling people about our products, our programs. You've got to keep doing this stuff because people forget and they'll forget about you in 2 seconds. I spoke to a real estate agent a while ago who was going to join one of our programs. He was talking to me and he said, do you know how many people know what I do, even friends and family, and we don't sell their house? And he said, it's just because people forget. They go to sell their house, they're in their own little world, and they go, oh, we better get a real estate agent. And then they hire someone who's local in the area who's put shit in their mailbox. Okay? They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. That's how people operate. So if you're not front of mind all the time, don't be surprised if you run out of leads. Don't be surprised if you run out of work. You always have to be on your game. Now, if you're not a business owner, Same thing. You have to be in front of your boss. You have to be making sure that you're presenting high quality work. You have to be making sure you're delivering on value. You have to be making sure that your boss's life or your manager's life's easier, because the more you do that, the probably higher paycheck you're going to get. Now, there's always exceptions to the rules. That happens. Always be thinking about the value that you're giving, and never stop marketing, never stop selling yourself. And if you're working for somebody, always be marketing, always be selling. If you're in an intimate relationship and you're not marketing yourself to your partner as a best option, don't be surprised if they start shopping elsewhere for a better option in a relationship. I talk about this in some of the relationship courses I've done over the years. Always be the best option. Always be looking after yourself. Make sure that your partner wakes up in the morning, they're like, how did I get so lucky? Not looking at you going, holy shit, 10 years ago you were smoking hot and now, now it looks like you've been burnt to death in the fire. Like, don't do that. Don't just be letting yourself go. Parents do it all the time. Do you know how many people I've had over the years who come to my Thrive Time event and they go, I'm here because I'm trying to figure out who I am. I lost myself in a relationship. I lost myself in the family. I put on weight. I let my partner down because I became sexually inactive. All we ever did was pay bills, work, yada, 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 talk about problems, watch sport on the weekend. And then one day they came home and said, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. And sometimes they find a better option. They've been out shopping elsewhere. The relationship ends. And then they come to one of my events and say, how do I get my shit back on track? Like, I've got to find me again. That's worst case scenario. I would rather not that. I would rather have people come to my events and be like, I want to be at your event because I want to be the best case scenario always for my partner. And by the way, if they go out shopping elsewhere, even better. That means I get to go and find someone even better than them. So you know what? I'm always at the top of my game. They're the types of people who crush it in life. Now, I'm not saying that you should do that in your relationship, but what I'm saying is don't let shit get bad before you try to think about making it good again. Stay on top of that stuff all the time, the same as your marketing. You know, what works is what works, so keep what's working. Anyway, Driven Mofos, have a great day. Keep crushing it. Remember to keep working on what's working and keep moving forward. Stay focused on your vision, stay focused on your mission, stay focused on your purpose, and keep living your values, and I guarantee you crush it. That's what I call your success map in life. That's what I do at my Thrive Time event. If you want to come to it, just DM me. We'll talk about it. Anyway, take care, Driven Mofos. Have a great day. Keep crushing it. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.